Guys, it's Kate and I hope you're having a great day. I am here with an unboxing of this Japanese watercolor. So it's the Boku Sumi ink watercolor, and it is the Shadow Black. I actually picked this up on Amazon. It's about $10 or $11 and I can link it below, but I thought these would be really interesting to try. They're all shades of black, and if you can kind of see, when they're lightened up, they have different shades. So we have like some purples, greens, blues, and maybe like a sepia, and I think that might be a black one. And I'm really excited to try these because I don't really have any nice rich black inky type of colors. So I thought we'd open this up, do some swatches and maybe a little painting and see how they work. When I looked at the product photo online, they reminded me a lot of those Kuretake pans, about the same size. So anyway, let me get the plastic off of this and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. We have it out of the plastic, and it's, just a basic box, but these palettes look really nice. And oh man, there's another layer of plastic. So it's got another plastic shrink wrap on it. I didn't even notice that. So let me get this open too. I'm just going to grab my X-Acto knife real quick and cut the side of this. Don't want to lose the knife. Can I get it open? Okay. So it's almost like it's vacuum sealed again, but here we go. Someday we'll get it open. I'm going to put this back away before I cut myself. Okay. So they all look pretty black in the pans, except this one. I can kind of tell that, well, it looks like it has a greenish tint, but apparently this is yellow black. So we have a reddish black, yellowish black, greenish black, bluish black, purplish black, and brownish black. So it didn't say the colors on the outside packaging, but once you get it opened up, they are all labeled. And so I guess if this is the yellowish black, it makes sense that it's the lightest looking one in the pans. So let's get these moistened and we'll start to make some swatches. So I will grab, let's see, this is my number 4 round, and I'm working on B watercolor paper today. So I'm going to grab some water out of my jar and get this activated. And they do remind me a lot of those Kuretake watercolors, and I don't really know how opaque this will be or how it'll spread, but let's just see. And this goes down really nicely. I'm going to get some water. I'm just dipping my brush straight in the water so I can run this out. And that's really pretty. All right, I'm going to give my brush a good rinse, get a pretty good load of water so I can activate this yellowish black. And you can see it activating in the pan. And it is very similar. They're very glossy looking, even when they are dry. And that's a really pretty color too. So I'm just going to dip my brush in my jar and start to run this out. See, to me this looks kind of green, but I suppose if I dip it in water again, it'll start to look a little bit yellow. So it definitely lightens up a lot, but you can also get a really deep color. But this is very greenish to me. Beautiful color though. It kind of reminds me of an olive green or a khaki green. And this one is the greenish black. So let's see how this looks in comparison. It's much darker going down. Let me dip my brush. Oh, that's beautiful. It's very dark. And I dip my brush in water again. And that's pretty. I should have gone all the way down with that reddish black, but It's a little bit dry now on the paper, so I don't think it'll look very good. Okay, next up is the bluish black. I'm going to get a good brush load and start it up here. Right off the bat, it reminds me a lot of Payne's Gray. Oh, I rinsed my brush a little bit too much, so it's going to be lighter here. I did the swish. Let's do some more and try to make it like the other ones. All right, I just did a dip on my brush that time instead of a swish. And now two. Oh, that's gorgeous. It is just like Payne's Gray. But when you first put it down, I mean, all of these look pretty dark, I'd say, except for this yellowish black. I'm going to try to narrow this a bit so that I can fit my sixth swatch on here. All right, I did a brush dip. This is the purplish black color. It doesn't look too purple, but maybe it's the lighting. I don't know. It looks a little bit muted, but I love the color. I just wouldn't really call that a very... It's different than the swatch that's in this little picture. So maybe with a little bit more trial, I can kind of see if it acts more like a purple. And this is the brownish black. And this is a really nice color too. That's really beautiful. All right. I'm going to set this aside and grab another piece of paper. And I'm going to see how these work wet and wet. So I think for this one, I'll grab my other, a little bit larger. It's a number 8 round. And we'll do reddish black here. I'm going to paint a little bit of a circle. Now I have a slight tint to my water here because I've been dipping my brush and it's slightly tinted from rinsing all that dark color. But for this purpose, really I just need to make sure that I can see how this will spread. So I'm going to get this activated again. It dried up a little bit. So I'm just going to get some on my brush and let's drop this in. And now here I did kind of a line, and now I'm just sort of touching my brush to the circle. Now for this one, we'll do the yellowish black. And I'm going to try to get a pretty even amount of water, like with the first one, and give it a second to soak in. And then I'm going to just make sure it's nice and activated. I don't want to spray this one because it's like a cardboard box. So I'm afraid of it ruining the cardboard. But this is very green. But I like it as long as I'm using it as a green and expecting that. So this one is the green. Oh, shoot. Never mind. I got to do my circle first. I'm just too excited. Okay. Let's do this one. You can see that kind of faded circle on there probably in the camera. So I'm just going to get that good layer on there. I've already got this pretty wet, so I should be fine kind of dipping into it. I kind of did some dots there, so I'm just going to do my line over here. But this kind of has really nice pigment. I mean, it's so dark and pretty. Okay. Let's do our bluish black. You can see my water's getting more and more tinted. It's kind of gray. All right. Let's do that bluish black. I'm kind of rubbing my brush up against the side, so I'm dipping it in the wet spot and just kind of trying to get an even coat on my brush a little bit. Let me move this into the shot. And get this all in here. Nice. I actually really like these shapes. Looks good to me. All right. Get a little bit more water for this one. And then get some more water to activate this paint. This is the purplish black. And these are just such nice colors. And I can see it, you know, doing its thing, spreading out a bit. All right, now for brownish black. And get some more water, reactivate that one a bit. All right. That one's really pretty. I really like that brown. Okay. Now I'm going to set this one aside and let it dry. And then we can see how it all blends together. And I'm going to grab another sheet of paper. All right, I grabbed another piece of paper. I put a little bit of water in the palette to make it active. It kind of dried out fast after I was dipping into it for the swatches, between the swatches and circles. So I'm going to use it like this. And actually, I'm going to grab my little swatch sheet and kind of keep it next to it so I know which color I'm grabbing. They're all so dark. All right, I'm going to do just a simple little floral in a vase. So, and you know, I was thinking too, this yellowish black, I guess that would make sense because blacks really are almost like a blue. And if you lighten it up enough and you mix it with yellow, it will kind of make a greenish color. So this makes sense being green now that I think of it. So I am just going to get started. Now I'm going to make like a little vase of some sort, maybe just like this. I'm going to wet the page a bit and maybe dip into this purple black. And just kind of let it be in there, very loose. Maybe I'll go into this yellowish black a bit and do some little leaves. Now I'm going to dip into some water, and how about we do some more of this greenish black. All right, and maybe go into some of this reddish black. Now I'm going to dip into some water and just kind of let that come out a bit. I'd like to do just a very loose painting. So I'm just going to kind of dip and just add some color in there. Dip my brush in water and just let it come out a bit. And maybe we'll do Another one here. Just make it nice and loose. Maybe I'll add a few little splashes. Now for my table, maybe I'll go to this brownish black and I'll make just a little bit of something for this to sit on. And I'm going to get it close to my vase. Well, maybe I'll let it touch because then we get that nice loose look. And the vase can kind of spread into the table area. Just like that. You can see this rich dark color here. It's really gorgeous. Let's go for some of this blue that we did. Actually, this was the purple, I think, wasn't it? I'm going to add a little bit of blue in there. Let that kind of come out. Stay loose with it. And why don't we put some little blue flowers up here. And I'm going to even dip into water again and let some of this spread out. Just so we have some lightness here. And loosen it up a bit. And I'm also letting it kind of touch some of these other spots so our flowers can kind of spread out. Maybe I'll dip just a little bit more into that blue and add that in a couple of spots down here. I've got kind of this blob of green, so what I might do is just lift a little bit of it and blot my brush. I'm sorry, the yellow black. And maybe I'll add a little bit of blue here. All right, I'm going to do a few more leaves, maybe even in this vase area, and maybe a couple coming out of here. And just add in a few of those little lines. We got a nice little full little vase of flowers. I'm going to add a little bit more of that red to this vase, maybe even to the table. And just keep that nice and loose. And maybe I'll add some more red to this in splashes. Now I'm going to blot my brush very well. I've got a little bit of too much water right there. I'm going to go ahead and take care of that. And then let's see how this dries. All right, we are completely dry, so I'm going to go ahead and give you the close-up of everything so you can see the swatches for yourself. Now, I worked very wet in these, so there's a little bit of like backwash in here, but the colors are wonderful. I really like this palette because you have just some really nice darks, but they lighten up very much when you add more water, and they're all these really beautiful muted tones. I think for, you know, just a little bit over $10, this is a great buy for just 6 really nice colors. And you could mix them with your other watercolors too. Here are our really cool circles that you can see where it kind of spread out and just has some nice blending, which I really enjoy. And I might even doodle in these later. We'll see. And then here is our little loose floral, and you can see how the colors blend together on the page. I have that really nice bleed out down here where the 2 layers kind of touched, and then also in these flower areas up here. It took dropping color in over and over really well, and I just love how the colors blend together. They all kind of work. And they're all kind of neutral. And I think that this turned out really nicely too. So if you're looking for something like this, these ink watercolors, and honestly, I don't really know a lot about these. But I guess they are ink, so they might be dye based or charcoal based. I was reading a little bit about the Sumi ink, but I'm not all that familiar. So if you know more about these as a product, please comment below. But if you're in the market for something, these are really fun. I think I'm going to pull these out and probably mix them with some of my other palettes when I'm doing different paintings. So hope you enjoyed this video today, and I will link this in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, keep creating. Bye!